Hi, this is Chloe here at Inner Whispers. Today I'm going to be unboxing a rather fun themed deck, the Panda Tarot. It's produced by Lo Scarabeo and the artist is Severino Baraldi. And looking him up online, I realised that not only did he create quite a few other tarots and oracles for Lo Scarabeo, including the Ramses Tarot of Eternity and the Tarot of the White Cats, which is a lot of fun, as well as I think the Flowers of Love Oracle and a couple of other like playing cards and what have you. He's actually also 86 years old, so you know, an old master. Amazing to think that he's still working and producing fun things even now. I hope I'm like that in my 80s. So let's take a look at this fun themed deck. So here we have the Panda Tarot. It's a normal Lo Scarabeo size and box, just very simple. Let's break into it. So it's a Lo Scarabeo deck, which means that we have the traditional little white book in 5 languages with about 12 pages each. It gives a little breakdown here of the symbols on the cards for the page, knight, queen and king. It talks about giant pandas living in China, solitary lives, eating mostly bamboo. And then we have a very brief description of each card. So, typical Lo Scarabeo fare. The box has the Fool and Temperance, I'm assuming. And let's take a look at the cards, which is the most interesting bit. There's 2 title cards, I believe. Oh, no, okay, only the one. So the Panda Tarot card. And then we start straight up with the Fool. And it's interesting because he is shown at night, whereas normally well, I guess you can kind of see the pink colour here, so maybe day is just about to dawn. And it's crescent moon, so growth and things opening up, and yeah, interesting. Also, yeah, he's only got a shoe on one foot and the other is his bare paw. The natural side of him is what is leading into, so maybe that's like the equivalent of having his dog. Interesting. The Magician, quite traditional there, floating up his wand. Ooh, a very exotic Chinese style high priestess. Deep purple robes, red around. Interesting. And a very gentle looking empress with her 3 little cubs. So that's very nice Chinese style costumes for these pandas, which makes sense. The Hierophant is very Western in that regard, but hey, we'll let them off. The Lovers. I like the panda up here, he looks pretty like full on. The Chariot. Justice is at 8 instead of 14. The Hermit, a much more sort of Buddhist looking figure compared to the Hierophant, for example. And the Wheel, being spun by, interesting position. So a sort of Chinese Fortuna, and it's just mice on the wheel rather than other creatures. We're all just mice on the wheel. 11 is Strength, with the teeny panda inside the mouth of the great big lion. Our Hanged Man looking a bit rough. Oh, and a black-faced panda for death. Interesting. I like the fun red-winged angel for Temperance, and a more traditional devil. But it's funny that he's kind of looking down to see what the enslaved chained pandas are up to. A lovely Chinese pagoda-style tower, still with a funny crown. And the star, very lovely. A rather more feminine-looking moon. The star you really couldn't tell gender, so that's an interesting point with this, that it's a bit less gendered, though still there. Fun sun panda. And Judgment rising up. Interesting that it's a panda below blowing the trumpet and winged floaty angel pandas up there, rather than normally it's a trumpet blowing angel up above, and a rather playful looking. And the 4 pandas in the edges are less distinct than the traditional cherubim. We have our Ace of Cups dove with panda in it, 2 of Cups, 3 of Cups. So clearly very traditional Rider-Waite symbolism for the most part. This is a somewhat different 4 of Cups. Like, interesting that he's holding the flowers and there's this minaret in the background. And it's quite an odd position to be in. Almost looks like he's snowboarding or something. Yeah, we shall see. 5 of Cups. Interesting also that it's a soldier. The bridge becomes much more predominant in this. 6 of Cups. Kind of an older looking child panda than in the Rider-Waite traditional. And doesn't he look pensive with his finger to his mouth? Oh, and there's a panda in there as well. I like the pagoda too, and it's a very Chinese dragon. So there's quite a lot of nice little touches here. Interesting he's walking towards the cups rather than away. And look at the panda face in the moon. That's nice. Yeah, he looks very smug and pleased with himself. And a happy panda family. Here's our Page of Cups. Knight of Cups. He looks rather lovelorn, doesn't he? The Queen of Cups. She looks more witchy almost than we're used to, I would say, like with this sort of censer burning something here. And King of Cups. So there's some very interesting touches while still staying with a lot of the traditional symbolism. I like that there's 2 figures. That's always one of my things for the 5 of Pentacles. It makes a difference to me. 6 of Pentacles, 7, 8 of Pentacles. He looks a bit grim, but hey, you know, if you're doing the same old thing all the time, I can understand getting grim. And the 9 of Pentacles, less obviously female, but also with the hawk. That's it. And interesting that here the panda has his head in his hands. What is it he doesn't want to see about this? Normally this is the grandfather figure. And the coins are in a very different pattern. That's definitely not the Kabbalistic tree. Oh, quite a forceful Page of Pentacles. A more dreamy Knight of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles once again has this sort of censer drifting herbs. And the King of Pentacles. Ace of Wands. 2 of Wands. Seems to have made his choice though. 3 of Wands. Not really looking out, he's looking back at us. So lots of little variations, which can be one of the joys of reading a Rider-Waite style deck, that it's almost like the differences that there are stand out more because you're so used to what's, you know, the tradition. So even small differences can make quite a big difference to your interpretation if you want it to, and if you don't, then hey, you stick with tradition, plain and simple. For 4 of Wands, you actually see the sort of wedding couple. Sorry. 5 of Wands. 6 of Wands. 7. Interesting, it almost looks more like the 8. Yeah. And the 8 of Wands has a similar feel, less sense of movement somehow. So that's quite a big change. 9 of Wands, back to something more expected, and the same for the 10 of Wands. He looks very sad. Our Page of Wands, striding boldly out. Knight of Wands looks a lot more like he's actually going somewhere, even if he is looking back over his shoulder than the other 2 did. And the Queen of Wands with a sunflower, so no censer burning anything here. And the King of Wands. Ace of Swords. 2 of Swords. I like that. The different angle does make a difference, and it's a waning moon. 3 of Swords. 4 of swords, 5 of swords, 6 of swords, going down a river rather than across a sort of sea, 7 of swords, 8 of swords. She looks very the perils of Penelope pit stop kind of thing for me somehow. So yeah, makes me laugh. 9 of swords, interesting that he has a candle burning, so that's another nice touch. And the 10 of swords, he's not actually in it, but wow, there's lightning, there's clouds, there's the 10 swords. So it's a bit gentler. This would definitely be a potential deck for kids, for example. The page and the knight and the queen of swords. I like her umbrella. And the king of swords. And then we have a second choice of magician. So that's quite cute. The back is a fully reversible paw, and so the cardstock feels nice. It shuffles pretty well. Let's take a riffle as well, just for those of us that like to riffle. I know some people do not. Yeah, this is your traditional Lo Scarabeo, very easy to shuffle, easy in the hand. I really like the traditional Lo Scarabeo cardstock quality. It's that bit thinner than, for example, I think the Thelema and some of the other decks that they did in box sets. So it feels very nice. And let's do a quick draw. Ace of Cups. This is my new love. Yay! Blessed be.